giving out instructions. Hey. I just keep it intact, this is a fact, right and exact, I won't step back. Admiration is the feeling that inspires your brain to make you gain self-knowledge, not go insane.
I don't know how I got here. I just know I'm never going back. Just when I thought things were already crazy, it gets worse.
I'm back.
Quan?
Sapphire struggles to deal with her husband's alleged betrayal and coming to terms with Quan being alive after thinking he was deceased. Devante tries to keep a level head while dealing with family issues and unexpected disloyalty. Memories of Dre enters Devante's life in a way that he would have never imagined.
Fire Part 2. The finale. Get your Get your copy of Fire. It's definitely a must-read. If you enjoy hood books, this one is it. Just like the title of the book, it's officially fire. Get it on Amazon, paperback or Kindle.
Peace. This is the Enemy's Public. I am Bro.Nasir. We're going to go over some lawlessness and disorder because that is the order of the day. Lawlessness and disorder. A wise man once told me to seek knowledge of self, and history best rewards us in our research. He also told me that I should get knowledge of others and to be mindful of who bring you news and information. Never accept the word and the news that wicked people give us. Never accept it as the truth. If a person is evil and wicked, they are incapable of telling the truth. They have no credibility. They are untrustworthy. Months ago, when the United States bombed small boats in international waters that were guided by Venezuelans, the very first thing that I thought about as a reason for Donald Trump ordering the bombs being dropped on those boats is something that I was thinking about years ago when he was president the first time. And I said on many platforms, I said to watch, because Venezuela has crude oil down in that area of Central America. Crude oil, a lot of oil. And we all know that the West love oil. They are oil junkies. The West are oil junkies. And they will kill, they will pillage, they will commit atrocities over oil. Months ago, Donald Trump, who never came up through the rank and file of the military, first he's using the military as his personal goons. All over the world, international. Salute to my brother P. Moses. Thank you for tapping in. Much respect to you. Donald Trump has been using the United States military as his personal goons to the point that it will cause a Nuremberg trial because the soldiers are committing atrocities and they are obeying unlawful requests and orders. That's what the military is doing right now. They're actually obeying when they should be disobeying unlawful orders. But they are obeying unlawful orders and they are carrying out any type of unlawful order. Not the Joint Chief of Staff or the highest military officer in their command. They are obeying Donald Trump to the point they did it reluctantly, they did it sloppily. They marched down the street on his birthday because Donald Trump wanted to have the appearance of a tyrannical dictator, sort of how North Korea, China, and Japan have their soldiers marching down the street because they said so. But I knew it when I heard about the bombing of Venezuela's boats, and then a second order was bombed, or a second bombing was ordered actually to kill the survivors, which is against the rules of engagement of war, against the Geneva Convention. And I'm going to say it how I feel it. The Wicked West don't care nothing about what the Geneva Convention is about. They don't care nothing about that. All rules are off. It's about lawlessness and disorder. Lawlessness and disorder. Now, it's out now of why Donald Trump ordered the bombing of Venezuelan, not ships, boats, little small boats. The reason why he said he did it was because they were carrying drugs. They were pirates. He called them pirates. He said they were smuggling drugs to the U.S., but they were in international waters meaning water that anyone can have access to. It's not United States territory. It's international waters. But Donald Trump ordered a bombing. And evidently, murderous United States soldiers carried out the order. Now, I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to get into the lawlessness and disorder. It's not all about what Trump is doing either, because, again, lawlessness and disorder is the order of the day. In today's society, not only in the United States, throughout the world has spun into chaos. Let me share my screen. Let's get into it.
Told him that he was losing the capacity to shock people with his Truth Social posts. And so in the last few days, he shocked the entire world with his response to the brutal murder of Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle. Now is following it up with one of the most unhinged remarks he's made about Venezuela yet. We could put up this Truth Social post. We'll read this entire thing. He says, Venezuela is completely surrounded by the largest armada ever assembled in the history of South America. I'll pause on that to note, are you really invoking the Spanish here? Like, what are you doing? He says, it will only get bigger and the shock to them will be like nothing they have ever seen before until such time as they return to the United States of America all of the oil, land, and other assets that they previously stole from us. Yes, Venezuela stole our oil, land, and other assets.
Now, how can Venezuela steal oil from the United States that is in their land? Tell me how that works. I knew this was going to happen. When they bombed Venezuela's boats, I said they're going to set up a pretense for war, and the United States will be over there robbing Venezuela of their resources. I said this when it happened. I knew it when it happened.
Assets. The illegitimate Maduro regime is using oil from these stolen oil fields to finance themselves. The horror, drug terrorism, human trafficking, murder, and kidnapping for the theft of our assets and many other reasons, including terrorism.
Who are Venezuela supposed to, support besides themselves? If a government have natural resources, they're supposed to sell those resources to support the people of that land. And if they want to be generous and give to other nations or help other nations, that's up to them totally. But I knew that Donald Trump and the United States will try this. Now, usually when the United States have a name for someone, like Taliban, Al-Qaeda, they actually give these people their names, like Maduro regime, saying they're using oil from these stolen oil fields in their land for drugs, terrorism, human trafficking, murder, and kidnapping. That sounds familiar of what the United States do. They're going to talk about human trafficking. A criminal, a convicted felon is trying to tell us that someone else has committed crimes. He's a convicted felon who's possibly in some files that that are very incriminating, that suggest that he was involved in doing some unthinkable things to minors. I'll just leave it there for now.
Terrorism, drug smuggling, and human trafficking. The Venezuelan regime has been designated a foreign terrorist organization. Therefore, today, I am ordering a total and complete blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers going into and out of Venezuela. The illegal aliens and criminals that the Maduro regime has sent into the United States during the weak and inept Biden administration are being returned to Venezuela at a rapid pace. America will not allow criminals, terrorists, or other countries to rob, threaten, or harm our nation, and likewise will not allow a hostile regime to take our oil, land, or any other assets, all of which must be returned to the United States immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. I don't understand how Venezuela could return land to us promptly. I understand the oil thing. Like there was a meme during the occupation of Iraq that said, "How did our oil get under their sand?"
It beats me.
But however it got under there, we're going over there and we're taking it back.
Someone's got to find out.
I understand the oil part. The land? How are we going to how did Venezuela take our land? Jesse Waters, we talked about, I think it was last week, said, South America is ours. It's in the name, America.
America.
Maybe that's what he means.
It's not that hard. It's America.
Now, it is obvious that Donald Trump didn't pass geography. You know, Venezuela is in America, but Venezuela, South America do not belong to the United States. Central America do not belong to the United States. And he's saying, this commentator, reporter, journalist, whatever you want to call him, he's saying that he understands the oil part. I don't understand any of it. Because if the land is theirs and the oil is in the land, the oil belongs to Venezuela. It doesn't belong to the United States or anyone else. So, wicked is as wicked does.
Ironically, Trump recently seized Venezuelan assets. They seized an oil tanker. We seized Citgo.
Mm-hmm.
Like we took their oil company.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to. Now they took our land.
I mean, also another part of that where he's saying, on the one hand, Maduro sent criminals into the United States during the Biden administration. On the other hand, Maduro is a vicious dictator. These two things are in conflict because what's actually happening is that Maduro is a dictator and people fled Maduro to come into the United States, which is why there's debate among the Republican Party over whether or not to grant asylum to people who, in the case of many Venezuelans, not all of them, actually is pretty sound for asylum, fleeing the...
It's ridiculous how people all the way up here in North America feel that they have the credibility, the moral credibility to say who's good and who's evil, who's a dictator and who's not. The very thing that Donald Trump is striving hard to be, he's calling people and getting other people to call people a dictator. A dictator will come in and terminate qualified people and put people he can control in positions in the federal government. That's what a dictator does. And if that person does their job, Donald Trump will get rid of them. Donald Trump fired the two highest ranking military of the National Guard and the Army because it was a brother and a sister. Because he knew, see, our enemy they know us. They know they're not going to. He knew he wasn't going to be able to control them and have them doing things they shouldn't be doing. He knows that.
Maduro regime, there were real reasons for people to be fleeing the Maduro regime, just as though there were real reasons for people to be fleeing Cuba over the last several decades. And so on the one hand, Trump is acting as though this was intentionally set up by Maduro to infiltrate the United States. But on the other hand, Maduro's so bad. Well, if Maduro's so bad, then it stands to reason people are going to flee into the United States, which is exactly what happened. It's similar to the trafficking narrative that they're trying to build. Of course, I think there's pretty significant evidence that there are state actors in the trafficking, and many people would argue there were state actors on our side.
The United States cannot talk about trafficking. We have human trafficking right here in the United States. We have government officials. We have all kinds of people in government, legislative branch, celebrities who take part in that type of behavior. But they want to point the finger at other nations that they are more than likely doing that type of business with. They fly to these places. Again, they do the dirt with them to get the dirt on them.
Our side in the trafficking as
Of
well.
course.
But that's the argument the United States government is making. But to say that this was intentional, that the migration from Venezuela into the United States was an intentional invasion, infiltration, they're doing the same thing with drugs. And actually what's happened is that people are poor and desperate and are trying to make money or trying to get to a better country. And so that actually confirms the administration's argument about Maduro being a dictator. But of course, they're trying to have it both ways.
And already a couple tankers apparently have been turned around because they're nervous about getting caught up in this American Spanish Armada, which is throwing the Venezuelan economy into complete and total turmoil. Like, it was already deeply struggling under this incredible tightening regime of sanctions that we have going on there, and as well as the collapse of oil prices over the last decade, which was kind of propping up the Chavista socialism project. What that's going to do is create, like you said, an outflow of migration, as well as create like starvation and suffering and misery, and
which there's plenty of already,
and create instability. Part of this, there's a right-wing movement going on now in South and Central America. You've had the right wing win elections in Ecuador, Honduras, Chile, Bolivia recently, and a significant, non-trivial amount of that is there were like 8 million Venezuelans, who
getting into Chile,
poured out of into lots of other countries. Like 500,000 or so came to the U.S. It's another 7.5 million went elsewhere around, and that generally throughout world history has created kind of a right wing.
It's crazy how the United States go to places, rob, murder, and pillage the land, cause famine, cause starvation, cause civil war, and then they'll blame the president of that land or the leader of that land for what they did. I've seen this ever since I can remember. When I got into history, I've seen this going back to the late 70s. Everywhere they go across the world, they leave it in ruins under the guise of saving the people. They say they're saving the people, they're going to save somebody, but they leave the land in ruins and they take every damn thing for them under the guise of saving them.
Wing pull. So when I first saw this news, I was like, Maduro, you want to call him a dictator or not, he's offering to step down in exchange for like lifting of the sanctions and not drone striking him, and offering to let America.
Salute, my brother Gasson. Salute. Peace to you. Thanks for tapping in, brother.
American oil companies come in. Like he's basically saying,
Yeah.
what do you want?
Well, he doesn't want what Trump is threatening to bring down right now.
He doesn't want to be killed.
Yeah.
And so why, like, I don't understand why Trump won't just say yes. Like,
the United States will kill you. They will kill you for your natural resources. They killed Saddam Hussein. They killed Muammar Gaddafi. They say they killed Osama bin Laden. They killed Yasser Arafat. They will kill you for those resources. They have no problem. They go into the Pentagon, to the Situation Room, and they will plan the way they're going to murder you. And anyone else who has something that they want, they will kill you.
Like, okay, you get your regime change, you get the oil, you get everything, but you don't get, I guess, a war. The only thing I can think of is, and this is like,
regime change is what they were saying when they were dealing with Saddam Hussein. Regime change. 9/11 happened in New York. They said Afghanistan did it, but they went and toppled Saddam Hussein in Iraq, arrested the president of that nation, tried him in an international court, a puppet court sanctioned by the United States, because if they had tried Saddam Hussein in a just court, he would have been found not guilty. But they tried him in a puppet court sanctioned by the United States. He was found guilty and he was executed.
like, no, can't be what he's doing. Like, maybe he misses a border crisis. Like, the border is very calm right now. And maybe to Trump, he needs a crisis at the border. And so he's like, oh, I need to create an enormous amount of instability and suffering in Venezuela so I can drive more people to the border. And then
this will make Donald Trump the chief crisis actor. Donald Trump is an actor. And if he wants a border crisis, this makes him a crisis actor. He's not even good at what he do. He's a liar, but he's not a convincing liar. You know he's lying every time he opens his mouth. You know he's lying. Why? Because the truth has to be in you to come out you.
in 2026, point to the caravans of the people at the border and be like, Democrats, I don't know quite how you finish that equation, but Democrats, scary brown people, you have to vote for me. It hasn't worked in the past, like when he had the big caravan in 2018 that didn't help him. What on earth is he doing?
Well, correct me if I remember, but Maduro has said his counter offer, part of it is allowing his him to handpick a successor who would reign in power for a couple of years, right?
And while there's elections, yeah. And that successor would not run for re-election.
Right. My guess is that if there was any chance of Donald Trump himself cutting a deal with Maduro, that's probably a brick wall in the negotiations. But I think that's a simpler
explanation. They're just going to put the Nobel Peace Prize winning Machado forcibly on the throne? Like, no.
But that's what...
She has no base at all.
But that's what I was going to say. The simpler explanation is that you have to think about this as President Marco Rubio as opposed to President Donald Trump. And President...
Now, you got a man who's ordering hits, ordering bombings in Iraq, ordering boats being bombed on international waters. Yet he had aspirations of winning the Nobel Peace Prize. There's nothing noble about you. And then you didn't bring peace to nowhere. So how are you going to win the Nobel Peace Prize when there's nothing noble about you and you're violent as hell? And the person who won is from Venezuela. That's who won the Nobel Peace Prize. But you're trying to pick a fight with them to start a war and rob, murder, and pillage their land.
President Marco Rubio doesn't want, knows that the United States, to paraphrase the Zelensky conversation, holds all the cards here, except for the American people largely not wanting this, but wants to make a point and wants absolutely no quarter, wants absolutely no remnant, which is impossible, but wants absolutely no remnant of the left, the socialist left, or the whatever you want to call it, in Venezuela.
It's a country that has a left.
Yes, and has convinced Trump. I mean, we saw just a couple of days ago, Trump declared fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction, that this could lay the groundwork for potential military action in Mexico. Because if you're declaring fentanyl WMD, there's all kinds of legal questions about what that actually means, what that actually does, but that's laying the groundwork for Mexico. That has nothing to do. I mean, we're talking about cocaine.
And if that's the case, it will have to go through the Senate, through the Congress, and the world courts. And I guess the United Nations, if that still exists. See, Donald Trump think he can just say somebody something and then take action. Fentanyl is killing people, but he has absolutely no proof, and he don't even care that he have no proof that Venezuela is trafficking drugs. No proof. He's just using that as a reason to get down there and to kill people. Donald Trump killed fishermen. The men were fishing. They were on boats. It wasn't a ship, a little tiny boat. Bombed the boat twice. Bombed the boat the first time, killed people, blew them to smithereens. And there were 2 shirtless men hanging on the boat, floating. Order a second bombing to kill everybody. That was the order, to kill everybody.
Cocaine in Venezuela, and so that's I think that's the best guess is because Trump does like making deals, but I think he's basically outsourced this to Marco Rubio.
And about half of, so if we manage the transition, then we can approve, who becomes, interim president leading into the elections, and then we can get somebody who's friendlier to the United States. If we don't manage the process, if we just drive some kind of chaotic regime change, about half of Maduro's deputies are much friendlier to China than they are to us.
Yeah, and that's why.
And so you might get one of them instead.
Which is why I think Rubio wants to do a total takeover.
With what? Like, who's gonna, like, Machado and what army? Like, you're really gonna, you're gonna occupy Venezuela?
I don't know if
with the U.S. Army.
Part of the Susie Wiles, we'll talk more about this in a second, but part of the Susie Wiles Vanity Fair story, I'm sure this jumped out to you as well. She's saying, we know who's on the.
And that's crazy. North America will be going, it'd be a continent on continent war. North America will be going to war with South America. That's what that'll be. People going to war on the same continent. Just like Egypt going to war with Libya. They're on the same continent.
On those boats.
But Donald Trump don't consider Venezuela as America. It's not on the mainland, but Venezuela is in America.
We have the CIA. I'm paraphrasing it, obviously, but she says that to Chris Whipple in the Vanity Fair article. And with what army is a great question, always has been a great question. Could have learned that lesson during the Bay of Pigs, but it's...
Salute to Vilified Nation. Thanks for tapping in. Salute.
I imagine intelligence coming from the CIA, which we know has been authorized to operate on the ground in Venezuela by the president, probably saying, you can do this, because that's what happens every damn time. You have the people, you have the weak links in the military. You can do it, and that's my best guess as to why there's the full bravado for complete and total regime change, is that they're once again convinced that it's doable, and that anything short of that just gives a foothold or leaves a foothold for China and Iran and the new axis of evil.
And meanwhile, Trump is going to get somebody killed in the air, put up C2.
Yes, he is.
For the second time, civilian aircraft nearly collided, this time with a U.S. Air Force tanker, because all of these American Armada planes...
Because he has all these DEI hires. You know, he fired capable people, qualified people, and put his people in place, and they are incompetent just like he is. Again, the hocus pocus that some of our people are falling for, thinking that because Donald Trump, because we are delineating from people who took us for granted. That's what we're doing. We're delineating from people who took us for granted. We embraced these immigrants and they gave us their ass to kiss. But because Donald Trump is deporting them, don't think that he's doing that for us, because he's a tether. Donald Trump is just a tether in charge. And any one of these tethers would do this if they were in charge. Donald Trump's found from damn Germany somewhere. And not only that, the Caucasian is the original tether. These tethers that are being deported back to their countries, they are Johnny-come-lately tethers that we, fought to have over here. Because we thought, we had this mindset at that time that they were our brethren. But they came here and all they did was take us for granted and be buffer classes and tethering off us. We know that they are not our family. They don't see us as family, so they got to go. But we cannot fall for this hocus pocus. Everybody besides us are tethers and Johnny-come-latelys to our land. So we shouldn't fall for the hocus pocus thinking that Donald Trump is somehow all of a sudden a friend of ours. When I hear some of our people talking like that, I say they sound crazy as hell. They sound crazy. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, the United States helped Afghanistan defeat the Soviet Union. But the United States had a game plan, with Afghanistan. The Soviet Union and Afghanistan's was enemies to the United States. They promised to rebuild Afghanistan once the war was over. Afghanistan defeated the Soviet Union, but was brought to ruins. The United States reneged on the deal to rebuild Afghanistan, and that's the problem that Afghanistan always had with the United States. They broke a promise. A man that won't treat you right won't teach you right. And they are an open and consistent enemy. So why will we begin to trust them when they haven't proved themselves trustworthy to us? Talking about the original tether now. I don't rock with no politician, left or right. They are untrustworthy. I don't rock with no politicians. So when I hear our people talking about what Donald Trump is doing, all this cheering him on, nah. I don't like that man. But I keep in mind how the government moves, politicians move. I keep in mind how they move. They helped Afghanistan defeat the Soviet Union, though they didn't like either one. So they were destroying both of their enemies at the same time. Keep that in mind.
Are flying around the Caribbean with their transponders off, not communicating with air traffic controllers. And as he said, it's the largest force maybe ever that's been in there. And so you have civilian aircraft constantly going through.
Milestone thoughts. Salute, peace. Thanks for tapping in.
There. And, you know, it's a big sky, and hopefully that none of them go down, but this is extremely reckless and dangerous. Nobody is asking for it. Like he hasn't even bothered to try to lie much about it. This whole like weapons of mass destruction fentanyl thing is like offensively like late.
It's late, it's a lie, and it's a weapon of mass distraction. Not weapon of mass destruction. Donald Trump is using a weapon of mass distraction as a pretense for war. And if they go, let me tell you, the term booty is the spoils of war. That's the original meaning of the word booty. The spoils of war. You go to war with someone, you defeat them. The spoils of war is the resources. And that's how a woman's adornment became booty. She was the spoils of war. Not her butt, not her breasts. She was the spoils of war. And sometimes when somebody's defeated, when you defeat a country, sometimes the women is the spoils of war. But now, in Venezuela's case, the oil and anything else they have down there that's a natural resource would be the spoils of war. But it just so happened that Donald Trump in particular, he's the face, a willing participant, and I know he's going to get his palms greased. The spoils of war is the natural resources in Venezuela, and they're trying to start a war. I knew this was going to happen when they did it months ago.
Lazy. Like this is what you like.
It is.
Maybe it's like we can do whatever we want.
Well, yeah, and I think the best way to think about the Venezuela policy is just, again, President Marco Rubio. I think Trump is not as interested as Marco Rubio is in this Venezuela regime change. He's been brought on board with it because he can use it from a kind of PR perspective to say this is the crackdown on drugs, even though that is going to be digested by most Americans to be related to fentanyl, and this is clearly not related to fentanyl. So anyway, all that is to say, the tripwires,
they don't even change how they do stuff. They don't even change their template. They use the same talking points. They use the same template of why they go to war. They always say somebody have weapons that they have themselves, or it's drugs that they manufacture in this country themselves, but they blame somebody else. They was over in Afghanistan because Afghanistan has the biggest poppy seed fields. That's why they was there. Period. And poppy seed fields makes heroin. But they all over the world talking about how much drugs everybody else sell, but don't talk about the drugs that's manufactured right here in the United States.
right now, when you have CIA operating on the ground in Venezuela, when you have the Armada, as Trump put it, that is, we are in the middle of a recipe for escalation, and that Americans could be dying in battle over Venezuela.
And
Possible.
Americans like could crash into the sea.
Yes, yeah.
And they took out another drug boat, alleged drug boat, just recently. And meanwhile, Hegseth is saying he will not show the video that he is so proud of, where they executed these two survivors.
And that's what makes it even more wicked. The theater of war, and not only bombing them, but recording it and showing it to everybody internationally, as to say that to other regimes that you can do this too, to keep people in order. You can bomb people also. It's just wicked. It's just plain wicked.
And he says absolutely the right battle decision. He keeps calling it a battle, not a battle. They're like basically unarmed. Mm-hmm. And you're sitting in like Florida.
Exactly. It's not even a battle. It's not even a fight. You're bombing people who don't have any weapons. So how is that a war? How is that a battle when you're bombing people who are helpless, that don't even have the capabilities of fighting back?
Hitting them with the drone.
They're not coming and shooting at Americans. They are, by their own admission, they're trafficking cocaine. Allegedly trafficking cocaine.
And without outboard motors to get to the...
Listen to this KV repeating the narrative, the false narrative. Because if you blew that boat to smithereens, or you just blew the boat up, you would still see debris of what they're trafficking in the waters. No cleanup to see what's in the waters. Just bomb a boat indiscriminately and don't care who you kill. That's the reason why the United States won't speak out against Israel for the atrocities they're committing. Be mindful. When the United States don't speak out against something, when the government of the United States don't say something is terrible, it's because they'll do it themselves.
That's the United States.
Even when it comes to how certain countries treat their people. The United States is good for saying somebody's a madman or somebody is mistreating their citizens, as if we don't have state-sponsored terrorists in the United States calling themselves down police. Just something for us to think about.
Like they're going somewhere.
Suriname or wherever.
Mexico, somewhere. They're not going to they're not making it to the United States with that.
Yeah.
Go on to the next video. Sticking to the same subject though. It's all about oil. I knew it was about
This
oil.
morning, President Trump appearing to escalate tensions with Venezuela, announcing on social media a total and complete blockade.
Putting a blockade on the oil tankers, meaning that stopping Venezuela from doing international trade, blocking them from doing business. You can't tell me this shit's not wicked. Because they want their oil, they're putting a blockade stopping them from doing business, international business. And that business is going to suffice the country. They're going to cause the country to suffer financially because they want what they have. That's the name of their game. It's always been that way.
Of all sanctioned oil tankers going into and out of Venezuela. The move, which experts say is actually a legal quarantine and could cripple Venezuela's economy in a matter of weeks,
Exactly.
comes days after the Coast Guard seized
Illegal.
this tanker, which U.S. officials say was transporting sanctioned oil from Venezuela and Iran to help fund foreign terror groups. President Nicolas Maduro last night urged peace but vowed to defend his country.
They always say they are funding terrorist groups. Always say that. See, that's the narrative that they always put out. Again, they don't change how they do nothing. Same talking points, same reasons to do what they do. Nothing's changed since the late 70s, early 80s.
Country.
No blood for oil. No war for oil.
His government calling Trump's statement a reckless and serious threat. Until recently, U.S. forces have only targeted alleged drug smuggling boats in the region. White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles telling Vanity Fair Trump wants to keep on blowing boats up until Maduro cries uncle. That rare interview from Trump's closest aide is providing new insight on a wide range of issues.
Susie likes to stay.
That's the crazy part, too. You got old, wicked-ass white people. Darn near gone, running the world, securing really generational wealth for their families. That's all these politicians do. These are wicked ass people. Wicked, evil people.
They sort of in the back, let me tell you. The ice baby, we call her the ice baby.
Wiles, notoriously media shy, was among those in Trump's inner circle photographed for the article. She describes Trump as having an alcoholic's personality, noting that Trump, who does not drink, operates with a view that there's nothing he can't do, nothing, zero, nothing. Trump saying he agrees with her. I have said that many times about myself. I do. It's a very possessive personality. Wiles also saying Vice President J.D. Vance has been a conspiracy theorist for a decade.
Sometimes I am a conspiracy theorist, but I only believe in the conspiracy theories that are true.
And Wiles adding Attorney General Pam Bondi completely whiffed her handling of the Epstein files. Wiles does acknowledge the president himself is in the Epstein files, but not doing anything awful, saying the two men were sort of young single playboys together. Wiles tells Vanity Fair the files include no
What a wicked
incriminating
ass white
evidence
woman.
about Bill Clinton, and no evidence Clinton ever visited Epstein's private island, something Trump has repeatedly claimed. In response to the article, Wiles calls it a disingenuously framed hit piece on me and the finest president, White House staff, and cabinet in history. But journalist Chris Whipple is defending his reporting, saying he has nearly 11 hours of interviews with Wiles documented.
I recorded every interview.
Even ones that weren't on the phone. There was one where she was doing laundry, apparently.
Yep, everything is on tape.
He insists nothing was taken out of context. And as for the escalation in Venezuela, Trump is only targeting sanctioned tankers linked to alleged terrorist activity, not all oil tankers, which would be seen as a declaration of war.
Evil, wicked ass people.
This is our house. I can't believe you've infiltrated our house like this. You've embarrassed.
Now, we're going to move on from politics. We're going to get into Law enforcement, again, we're dealing with lawlessness. You know, we're dealing with lawlessness, and we're dealing with disorder. A jail guard caught bringing drugs into the jail for inmates.
Stuff.
Using jailhouse phone calls, detectives learned that one of the jailers was getting paid to smuggle drugs into the jail. After the jailer met up with the mother of an inmate to receive an envelope of drugs she was to deliver to her son, detectives stopped her car in traffic.
All right, let me go check this out. I'll be right back with you, okay? All right. Why don't you hop on for me for a sec?
Okay.
I'm going to put you over by my car here.
Okay.
All right, you don't have anything you're not supposed to have? All right, I'm going to run my dog around here real quick.
Okay.
I'm just going to have you have a seat in my car for a second here. $50. Good boy. Positive on the vehicle.
Hey, we're going to come over to you.
Hang tight.
Okay.
Is there any reason the dog would alert on your vehicle?
It's a bottle of wine under the front
No,
seat.
he's a narcotics dog.
Oh, no, you can check it out.
It looks like your paperwork. It looks like it's just in the system.
Oh, yeah, no.
Anybody smoke weed in your car?
Do anybody smoke weed in my car? So like, am I gonna get in trouble?
No. I'm just my dog's trained to smell marijuana.
Oh, okay. So I did have some marijuana.
Okay.
It was in my if you look in my glove box, not my glove box, my middle console part, but that's the only place it was. But
all right, because he alerted on your passenger side door.
oh, go ahead. You can look.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get somebody else out here. So I don't have to search by myself.
Okay.
And we'll just go through there. There's no weed in there now, is there?
Nope, it was just in my passenger side. Not even in the passenger side, it's in the middle console part.
Okay. How long ago?
Probably like 2 days ago. It's at the house.
Okay. He alerted on the passenger side door. No. Looks like her driving stuff
It's cleared.
is clear. Yeah.
But we got probable cause because she.
Oh, yeah. I didn't want to go into any of that.
Yeah, is that plate expired too?
Yes, it is.
So you got probable cause there too.
Stop there for the plate. Yes.
Sorry, I didn't have a backup. I thought.
Oh, that was dumb. You got this relatively new car and the paperwork's not done under. Because I was just about to ask what was the pretense for the stop altogether, but dumb.
Oh, you're fine.
There's another backup.
Said there was weed in here 2 days ago. She admitted that there was weed in the center console 2 days ago.
There you go. You got it. Bingo, there's our package. Yes, sir. Let's get a picture. Got the camera on, right?
All right, I'm gonna cuff her up.
I got it.
All right, now hop out and turn around. Go park. You okay?
Okay.
Okay, yeah, the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in court of law. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right. With that being said, there was more than weed in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
How you doing? I'm good. Not really, right? Yeah, not really.
Yeah. So let's get. My name is Ted Caraballo. Did you understand the right? I need you over here.
Yeah.
I have. Did you understand the rights that you were read?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this is what I'm going to tell you. You're under arrest. Okay. You're under arrest for conspiracy. You're also under arrest for drug trafficking, and you're also arrested for conveyance of illegal narcotics into our jail. Lieutenant with the Sheriff's Department, going on my 31st year. I started as a correction officer. I'm extremely appalled. I really am. All right. This is
a sergeant of corrections, the Department of Corrections.
our
Wow.
house. I can't believe you've infiltrated our house like this. You've embarrassed us.
And I guarantee you, one of these guys are probably doing the same thing. And it's, if half of police would do their jobs, the other half would be in prison.
You understand why I feel that way? Yes. Okay. So, I'm going to give you an opportunity because
I got.
you might have just made a bad decision.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think you've made several bad decisions recently. Because we've already talked to the inmates in there. All right. We've already arrested Javon's dad. All right. We arrested him last night. You're already aware of that though, because you talked to him. We already know you're aware of that. We know you've been talking to the mom as well. Okay. We know you were getting paid. How much were you getting paid though?
If she was smart, she would invoke her Fifth Amendment rights and don't answer no questions. You should just be quiet.
No. Pardon me? Nothing. Nothing. No, that don't make no sense at all. Come on, please don't insult my intelligence. I've been investigating you for too long. All right. I already know the answer to the questions I'm asking you. Okay. All right. Please don't insult my intelligence like that. Okay. We're gonna try it again. How much were you getting paid?
She shouldn't answer no questions. She should just plead the Fifth. You don't have an attorney there. Do not talk to the police. Don't talk to them.
Like Father. Thank you very much. That's exactly what my investigation indicates. Okay. The best thing you could do right now is tell me, cooperate. We seen the party at your house. All right. We know what's going on. We know who the runners are. We know who's working with you. You said the party at mom? Yeah. Your girl's house last night. Yeah. And the night before. You called up. Yeah. Yeah. You were at the bar night before, right? Yeah. Yeah. We've been watching you. We knew this was going on. You've been set up. Okay. So the best thing you can do is start working with me. Okay. Okay? Yeah. How many times have you done this? Just like my second time. Where'd you meet the last time? Right there at his house. At his house on Broadway. It's on Broadway. Which one? It's like a duplex complex. What day was that? No, that I do not remember. Oh, come on. No, I really don't. It was probably $500. You're risking your freedom, and you can't remember when the last time you did. Come on, please. No, it's probably like a couple weeks ago, but I don't. The exact date I don't. Okay, a couple weeks ago. I want to say probably like 2, 3 weeks ago. What pod was he in? 19. Yes, he was. Thank you for being honest. Took it to him at what time? Morning time. And how did you pass it to him? I had to go to his door for a tray. My job here is to rid the jail of overdoses. Yes. Okay. The resident population inside that jail depends on us for their safety. Tell me this. Why are you doing this? Honestly, he threatened my family. He threatened your family. He grew up on 30th Project, so I know y'all just seen it all on the news. It was a young man that y'all said was like he the leader of the family, like on the Heartless.
I don't understand why she didn't just plead the Fifth until she got an attorney present. She just talking and talking and talking. Damn.
Who? His name is Leo Mullins. He's down there in the feds. Him and his dad know
everybody down there with my family. And I'm not a big family oriented person, but like for my family, like I will go protect it. Like my cousins.
Why would you just quit?
I need the money. I'm me. Like I'm all I have. Like
I'm talk to anybody else.
No, I'm all I have. Like I'm literally scared. Like I didn't go to that. Nobody knew I was doing this. I was scared to go. It's like nothing in that job. Like you can't confine to nothing because it's going to get out. So like I couldn't confine.
Go to IA.
That still get out. I'm not trying to be funny. Anytime anything happened with IA in that job or anything, if we talk to HR, IA, it gets out and it gets around that job. So like the last thing I need, and on that floor, it's not just him that know my family is. So when he came to me and told me like he could get, he told me that my mom stayed on Manor. When he told me my mom stayed on Manor, that scared my mom. Literally, that scared my mom because I'm not even really affected with my mom, but I don't tell nobody where my family stays. So when he told me my family stay on Manor, and he told me how he know my twin cousin and my Uncle Leon, and they go to my mom's house on holidays and stuff like that, and like he know what goes on with them. And either I do this or like something happened to my family that scared me, and there's nothing I know I'm in the wrong, but if like I have to protect, like I have to protect my family.
Can I tell you something? I don't believe that. Okay? Again, 31 years.
All
right?
Sir,
you're calling shots.
Oh, and I'm calling shots?
You know what a wiretap is, right? Okay. You refused to do it until you got paid. You know, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, dude.
Okay. So let's rewind. Okay.
Okay. You said I refused to do it until I got paid. So did you know that he sent chaos? That's what they call it.
Yeah, I know chaos.
Yeah. Do you know you don't know the other messages that was sent. Like you know that was said on your thing, but like you don't know the other messages that was sent. That's so that sometimes when it comes to them pods, like I was calling off. If you look on my call off thing, I was calling off certain days when I was getting to them pods because what was getting back to me. Sir, I'm sitting here in handcuffs. I don't have no reason to lie. There's nothing I can say no more. Like if I'm sitting here and I'm gonna tell you the truth and I'm gonna tell you what's going on. Yes, I'm caught. Yes, I know what I did. Yes, I did. You asked me why I did it. I'm doing it I have to protect my family. They know
but you refused to do it.
Yes, I refused to do it until he sent chaos. He told chaos because I believe chaos was the one who told him to ask me. He told chaos. And I told Chaos no. They sent another inmate to me to ask me, Messiah Payne. I told him no. So once it got back, and he told them like,
who's Chaos? What's his name?
Kenny Derrick. He's an age. Yeah, Kenny Derrick.
Derrick Kenny.
Yeah, Derrick. That's it. Derrick Kenny. Yeah,
that's Chaos.
Yeah, that's Chaos.
Yeah.
So once they told that, and they got back to me, and
you didn't bring it to Derrick Kenny.
No, never brought anything to Derrick Kenny. Never at all. Yeah, Derrick.
I just don't like you standing out here with our uniform on.
Oh, okay. Oh, I could take.
Yeah.
Yeah, she could do that. That's relief.
So Derrick Kenny is the man running the 8th floor. How many other people did they threaten up there?
I don't know because they don't talk. Only thing I hear about during the day when I get there is stuff. Is the sexual stuff. Like I know why I was doing what I was doing, and I'm not gonna lie to you. It's my family. It's just me, my mom, my little sister. That's it. That's all I have. We don't have big family, no nothing. So when that came to me, no one knew about it. It's not something I talked to. I didn't know. I didn't go to nobody because that job is not a sacred place. I've been there like 3 years now, and it's not a sacred place. There's nothing nobody has ever done with going to IA or HR, and it didn't get back out to everybody in the job, and everybody's looking at you all crazy and stuff. And I just didn't want my business out. Maybe I could have went the other way, but it's my family, sir. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. It's my family.
Well, tell me this. Word has it you're a heartless felon.
Back in 2019, 2 corrections officers who worked at Cuyahoga County Jail were accused of helping heartless felons gang members smuggle drugs into the prison.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
I've never been no gang affiliated. No, I've never been nothing like this. No lie. The most I go to court for is tickets.
Okay.
It's for my license. That's it. I don't anything else. I've never been in a gang. I don't. My cousins that's affiliated with that. I don't even be with them. They be in 30th. I stay way up in Willoughby.
What is that, by the way? Do you know?
No, I just know.
Nah, come on.
I knew it was black. I knew it was a black and mild, and I knew it was some marijuana in there, and I knew it was a lighter in the sheet paper.
No, I want to know about the pills.
Oh no. See that right there? I don't know what that is. He never said nothing about that. He said marijuana, the sheet paper, a lighter, and black and mild. The pills that I don't know nothing about that. And they can tell you that.
Listen, what are the pills? You ain't bringing no pills in that you don't know what they are.
Sir, I'm saying, tell you, I don't know. I know what the tune paper is. I know the marijuana. I know black and mild. The pills, okay. I don't have what type of pills. I don't know what the type of pills these pills are.
Okay. You know that somebody overdosed on those?
On those pills?
Yeah.
No, I did not know that.
Okay. Well, he did. And he almost died. We had to Narcan him 3 times. You know what that could be, right?
Yes.
Well, she's done. She's hit. She's probably more than likely going to do more time than the inmates she was bringing the drugs to.
Tell me what that could be.
That could be aggravated murder.
The suspect was charged with aggravated trafficking in drugs, a 4th-degree felony, after being held in lieu of a $250,000 bond and being placed on paid administrative leave. The state dismissed the case against her.
Whoa. Paid administrative leave. And then the case was dismissed. They treated her like she was white. Damn. Now we're going to go staying consistent with law enforcement. A murderous cop who talked about how fun it was killing a woman. Didn't expect that end to that video. Them dropping the charges.
This cop just ran over an innocent civilian, killing her instantly. And here's his coworker trying to justify his actions.
That's not reckless for a train driver, but she is dead. She was 26 anyway. She had limited value.
But this is just one of 4 shocking examples when
limited value at age 26. So what is he on? That gives off very weird vibes to say a woman that's 26 have limited values being that young. That's weird.
Cops get exposed on camera, just like the time this deputy was caught up in the deadly shooting of his own girlfriend.
I should have not allowed this to happen. I don't know how this happened.
Or when this officer killed a family dog.
Well, he's out the gate. Hey, bud. Hey.
Come on.
Get back. Get down.
Why would you do that?
But let's get back to Daniel Outerer, the officer laughing and joking about the death of a 23-year-old graduate student killed by police. The footage released by police shows she was struck by a cruiser speeding nearly 70 miles per hour while responding to a high-priority call.
He says, well, normally we don't give...
That is so wicked. They're responding to a call and they hit a woman and they can have anything to say disparaging about that's wicked, that's evil.
Voluntary statements. I said, hey, you're going to have to decide if you wanted to give a statement or not, but it does not seem like there's a criminal investigation going on. He's going 50. That's not out of control. That's not reckless for a train driver. He said she was in a crosswalk There's a witness that says, no, she wasn't. But that witness could be different because I don't think she was thrown 40 feet either.
The accident was ruled nothing more than an accident, but the officer involved must go through a drug test, and that test was conducted by his colleague, Officer Outerer. However, a day later, when this footage was uncovered by a Seattle Police Department employee, he was caught making some deeply disturbing comments about the case.
I think she went up on the hood, hit the windshield, then when he hit the brakes, flew off the car. But she is dead. No, it's a regular person. Yeah, just write a check. Yeah, $11,000. She was 26 anyway. She had limited value.
What a evil, wicked ass demon.
His words weren't just insensitive, they were inhumane. And when confronted, Officer Outerer tried to defend his comments, saying that they were intended to mock the lawyers who'd been involved in the case. But he was still fired from the police department. He later said in a $20 million claim against the city that he was wrongfully terminated. And unfortunately, some officers do far worse than making disturbing comments. One of the most horrifying cases is this predator cop, with more charges than the age of his victims.
Can I ask, is this something I should have lawyers on?
It all began when police received 2 separate tips about a man engaging in sex acts involving 3 alleged victims. But as the case unfolded, the evidence pointed in a shocking direction at one of their colleagues, Officer Jalen Fleer, a man with a pregnant wife, a new home, and a seemingly perfect life that's about to collapse. For 2 months, investigators stayed on his trail, quietly building their case, while Fleer had no idea he was being watched. Then, once they had enough evidence, they brought him in for questioning.
Can I ask what this is about?
Yeah, so we're looking into some allegations that were made. It started with a Crime Stopper report, so we're just kind of going from there. We did receive a picture. We looked into it. It looks similar to you, so I don't know if you can take a look at the picture and just tell me if you've seen this picture before.
As soon as the detective mentioned the word allegations, Fleer froze and suddenly became attentive. He looked tense and uneasy, desperate to know what they'd found and how much trouble he was really in.
Yeah, that's definitely me with the gross one.
So this picture right here, how old were you when it was taken?
20.
That makes it very easy. This photo came up in connection with some allegations about you communicating with a younger female on Snapchat.
Can I ask, is this something I should have lawyers on?
At this point, Fleer's worst nightmare was starting to come true. He knew there was no way the detectives could have gotten that photo unless they already had all the chat logs. And now they were just trying to confirm if it was really him behind the account.
So this photo was sent within the last 3 weeks. Have you sent this photo not to anyone within the last 3 weeks? Okay. And you've only shared it with a select few people.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, so.
So I want to make sure to get all the people you have shared it with just to make sure they wouldn't try to send it. You don't know who I might be able to connect with this photo as far as
that one? Oh, that was a long time ago.
It was either your wife or whoever the other person you might have shared it with that might have shared the photo again. My question is...
My wife would do that.
Yeah.
We've been together for so long. It was bad breaking with my ex, but she wouldn't have saved something like that either.
As Fleer kept denying any connection to the allegations and photo, the evidence just didn't add up. The account that shared it used the username J178211. 17 was his college baseball number, 82 was his high school jersey, and 2011 was the year he graduated. So if that account wasn't his, then whoever made it sure knew a lot about him. And as the interrogation went on, Fleer made one big mistake.
Have you ever shared any images of your penis with anyone?
Yeah.
How many times would you say you've done that?
A lot.
And there's nothing wrong with this photo, right? It's just
No,
you.
I agree. I don't know how it would get in the hands of a younger person.
There were also some conversations that were exchanged between you and this person.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I didn't talk to anybody younger, though.
Not on Snapchat?
No.
Not recently?
Not recently, no.
When asked if he'd talked to a minor on Snapchat, Fleer said not recently, unknowingly admitting to the crime. And knowing the 2 worst things you can be in prison are a cop or a predator, Fleer quickly asked for a lawyer, as he wasn't about to spend a single minute in a cell.
I went to a lawyer because this is kind of, I'm uncomfortable with this. This is weird.
Of course, like you definitely have the ability to do that. And of course, you know, this is completely voluntary.
I just don't want to get caught up on something.
I fully understand.
Soon after Fleer asked for a lawyer, bringing the interrogation to an end, he was quickly served with a search warrant for his phone, car and home, uncovering a mountain of incriminating evidence linking him to the crimes. Investigators later discovered that Officer Fleer had contacted 41 young girls, some as young as 9 years old. He was immediately placed on leave, had his duties restricted, and was eventually terminated from his position. In
He should have been arrested on the spot.
May 2021, Fleer pleaded guilty to 20 felony and misdemeanor charges related to acts with minors and attempts to meet minors for purposes. A month later, he was sentenced to 12 years in state prison. However, the next evil cop actually got away with doing something unforgivable.
You will not do that.
You think I come here?
The Barrios family was enjoying a peaceful morning until the officer came knocking at their door. A child had earlier reported being chased by a dog and a man with a gun. So when Officer Carl Lampkin showed up to look into it, it seemed like a simple investigation until it turned into murder.
The reason why I'm out here about a call about a kid on your car being chased by dogs and your husband pulling the gun on him.
We don't even own a gun, for one.
Okay.
Two, my husband never made it out of the house. I got woke straight up from my dogs raising hell.
Mhm.
I opened the door. My gate was open. There's no way for my gate to get open if somebody don't open my gate.
Mhm.
So I go out in my underwear, shut the gate. I turn around and come back in the house, and he's sitting on the back of the car. I said, get off the car. No, your dogs are chasing me. I said, my dogs are in this fence. Get off the car. He
Mhm.
refused to get off the car.
Okay.
So I told him it was about to be a bad day for him, and I come back in the back door, and when I did, he took off running up the road. That's the last we seen him. I was hoping his mama would come back down here. You don't send a kid out at 6:30 in the morning, somebody's house, opening a gate in their backyard.
As the woman explained her side of the story, the officer seemed unconvinced. He could have easily verified the gun claim to find out who was telling the truth and end the case, but instead, he skipped that step entirely. He'd already decided they were lying and became fixated on proving his assumption rather than checking the facts.
So is he in your backyard?
Most case scenario.
And the gate was open. My dogs would have been out.
Our dog surprised him when he stepped
Yeah, that's what happened.
Was he standing on the top of your car? Yes.
On the back of the car. And would not leave.
Was his mother on the phone at any time?
I don't know. He got down and ran, and that's all we know is he ran around that
And where were your
corner
dogs?
up that road. In the backyard.
Did your dogs ever come outside?
No.
You can go back there.
I'll go open it right now, and they will not come out of that fence on you.
Okay. Well, let me see.
When they mentioned that their dog never steps out of the gate, he decided to test the claim.
Well, he's out the gate. Hey, bud. Hey.
Come on.
Get back. Get down.
Why would you do that?
He's all business.
My God! You really just shot my dog!
Even after killing the dog, the officer showed no remorse. Instead, he tried to justify his actions by claiming self-defense. But when the victim's son came out,
Yeah, that was evil. That dog wasn't attacking that cop. That was wrong. That was evil as hell.
furious and demanding answers, the officer only made things worse, pulling his gun on the boy and telling the mother to let him loose. At that moment, it was clear the son could be next if she didn't calm him down.
Damn cute. Mike 319, give me 1033.
And I don't understand why this commentator is calling this grown ass man a boy. It's not a boy, that's a grown ass man, but I understand his anger because the damn cop shot his dog for nothing. Dog wasn't vicious, wasn't attacking.
Single unit and sitting sorry. Buddy, you gonna get yourself in trouble.
You better get the fuck out.
No, sir.
Get the fuck.
You killed my dog! Why would you do that? Oh my
Hey.
God.
Yeah.
Dude, you're gonna get yourself in trouble. I'm trying to save you.
You better leave my damn house.
Get back. Stay
now.
Ma'am, get
leave
back.
my goddamn house.
No, I'm not.
Right now.
It's okay. It's what you just did to my kid's dog.
You leave my goddamn house.
Sir, I'm trying to save you.
As the son's reaction to tragically losing his best friend continued, the officer only tried to tase him, a restraint he could have easily used on the dog earlier, clearly showing that the shooting wasn't necessary, but intentional. And even after that, the officer still wasn't done traumatizing the family.
Your son's gonna be arrested. Did your dog have rabies shots?
Oh, yeah.
You got the paperwork?
Oh, like that.
I know it's stressful.
It is.
Sir, I know it's stressful, but your son's gonna get himself in a bunch of trouble. I don't care how hot his head is. He's crossing the line.
You crossed the line when you shot.
No, you probably crossed the line when you put the gun on the kid and ran him down the street.
I didn't pull no gun. I ain't got no gun.
Despite all the trauma he'd already caused, the officer kept trying to shift the blame. And then, when his colleague arrived, they arrested the boy for his reaction and called it assaulting a police officer. But when the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office reviewed the case, they ruled that the officer's actions were within departmental guidelines, after it was confirmed that the dog had bitten his finger. Unsatisfied with the verdict, Mrs. Barrios filed a lawsuit against Officer Lampkin and the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office in December 2024, citing a violation of civil rights. The case is still ongoing to this day, with Officer Lampkin continuing to keep his job. But while this evil cop got away with killing a dog, this next officer tried to get away with murdering his own girlfriend.
That'd be a nightmare. I'm so sorry, dude. I know better.
Earlier that day, police responded to the home of Marion County Sheriff's Deputy Leslie Boo after he made a 911 call himself. Upon arrival, they found his 25-year-old girlfriend, Paulina Wright, dead, shot in the forehead as he held her in his arms. Boo claimed it was an accident, but after officers brought him in for questioning, they uncovered something truly evil.
Such a good night. We were having such a good night. This cannot be happening right now. No, she can't be. She cannot be dead. She is a good person. We should have never been doing.
The police are the most abusive men to their girlfriends and their wives. Almost 50% of them end up unaliving their wives and their girlfriends. Police officers. These are the same guys that'll show up at a domestic violence call, acting self-righteous, saying that you shouldn't beat a woman. And you shouldn't beat a woman, but they beat their wives more than anybody, any civilian, because they're power hungry. They want compliance. When they tell somebody to do something, even if it's unlawful, they want compliance, and they take it home with them. Especially if they want compliance and want people to obey them, and the people don't obey them on the street, tell them to go to hell on the street, and then you come home with that, and you got a wife that's demanding that he respect her, he's going to have a problem with that.
Doing that. It's got to be a nightmare. Paulina's got to be. God, please send her back to me.
Peace, my brother. The comrade, Big Dog Philly OG. Salute. Thanks for tapping in.
I'm so sorry, dude. I know better. I should have not allowed this to happen. I don't know how this happened.
Even though Boo insisted the shooting was a mistake and acted regretful, his reaction suggested something suspicious. As a trained cop, Boo knew there were cameras in the interrogation room, and he probably put on a performance to make it look like it was really a mistake.
Tell me exactly what happened.
It's an accident. We were training.
What do you mean by that? You were training?
We were doing dry fire drills and cleaning the guns. I was so worried about her because she picked up a loaded gun. I unloaded her gun and I forgot mine had a magazine in it. We were sitting at the table. We just got done with dinner, came back. We were starting to watch the football game together, and we sat down. I just ordered all of that stuff that was on the table, the new stuff for cleaning and the mat and stuff. And she wanted me to show her how to do it. So we started doing it, and it just led to this.
Okay. So was she pointing the gun at you? Were you pointing the gun at her? Like, kind of go through
Just in a general direction, which I know is wrong. We should not have been doing that.
But she told you that she wanted to learn how to do this stuff?
Boo claimed he had unloaded his girlfriend's pistol, but somehow forgot to unload his own, which already raised serious questions. As a police officer, he knew better than to ever point a gun at someone who wasn't a threat, especially not his girlfriend, unless he really meant to.
I start to show her how to clean the gun or like trading parts back and forth, stuff like that.
When you're sitting there, do you have the rifle out at that point?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have the rifle out at that point. You disassembled it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you disassembled it and you're telling her how to like clean it?
Yeah, how to clean it, what parts are what. Like I'm handing her some of the parts and like she's holding it and messing with it while I'm cleaning other parts.
Now, does she have the 9mm at that point?
No, we're just trading parts back and forth at that point for the rifle. I reassemble the rifle. She holds it and she like fires it a few times. I was getting ready to put all the guns up or put the rifle up. That's when she grabbed the 9mm. I had the magazine back in the rifle at that point because I was about to go put it up.
Put the magazine in it, getting ready to put it up.
Yeah, that's when she grabs the 9mm. I unload that for her because she's kind of waving it around. She starts to dry fire that one. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I go to dry fire my rifle. I dry fire it the first time, and then the second time is when.
One time before that, and then the second time is when it went off?
Yeah.
Have you guys done this before in the past?
Okay. It sounds bad, but after we go to dinner and have a few drinks, I get sloppy, I guess. I should not have been allowing that to happen.
How much did you have to drink tonight?
Just 3 margaritas. We each had 3.
However, his girlfriend's blood alcohol level was only 0.04, far below Florida's 0.08 driving limit, which clearly shows he wasn't drunk or confused. He knew exactly what he was doing. And the detective had no other choice than to believe him, as an earlier search of his house reveals evidence that actually supports his story. And at first, it looked like Boo might be getting away with murder. But after the interrogation, he was relieved of his duty, arrested, and charged with manslaughter. A few weeks later, a judge granted him bond, while police continued their investigation with the state attorney's office.
Wicked. Now we're going to go get it back into politics.
The Trump Justice Department has 1 week from tonight to comply with the law passed by Congress compelling it to release all the files that it has related to the late sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. But ahead of that,
Like I said, we're going to get into politics now. Now we got, Trump, Clinton. Their names is being, their name is surfaces in the Jeffrey Epstein case. The House Democrats released shocking images. I mean, it's just as we suspected. We knew this, and it's not surprising.
a deadline for the administration, Congress is providing new insight this evening into just how expansive his orbit of rich and powerful friends actually was. None of the men that you're about to see are accused of wrongdoing. That's important to note. But Democrats on the House Oversight Committee have released these pictures from Jeffrey Epstein's estate, citing the need for transparency. One of the images that we got today shows the president, of course, before he was president, in a crowd with Jeffrey Epstein. Another shows him with several women whose faces have been blurred, the committee says, to protect their identities. And that's the case in several of the pictures that we're actually seeing tonight. There's another image with Trump with another woman, and in these images that are turned over by the Epstein's estate. And there's one also showing Bill Clinton posing with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell at an event. There are several showing Jeffrey Epstein with Steve Bannon, Trump's former chief strategist from his first term in office. The famous names and faces continue as we looked through these photos that were released this morning. Woody Allen, Bill Gates, Richard Branson, Larry Summers all show up. There are tens of thousands more, though, that we are told that have not been released yet by the committee. Democrats released several throughout the day. Mostly they show rooms and images around Jeffrey Epstein's now infamous private island. And in the Oval Office tonight, the president himself was asked what he thought.
Yeah, private island where they go to do the unthinkable. A private island.
Thought about these new photos.
Well, I haven't seen it, but I mean, everybody knew this man. He was all over Palm Beach. He has photos with everybody. I mean, almost there are hundreds and hundreds of people that have photos with him. So that's no big deal. I know nothing about it.
The president moved on to other questions, but there were also pictures today that were part of this release of novelty condoms, including one that is clearly visible with the president's face on it. You can read for yourself what it says. In these images, total, we got 92 pictures from the Democrats out of some 95,000 we know that they obtained from Jeffrey Epstein's email account and one of his laptops. The White House has responded tonight by accusing congressional Democrats of cherry-picking photos to create what they claim is a false narrative. I'm going to ask a top Democrat about that in a moment. But in the meantime, one of the loudest Republican voices on this issued a warning today, saying that the secret grand jury material that judges have recently cleared for release, they believe is not going to be enough.
No, the grand jury material is just a small fraction of what the DOJ needs to release, because the FBI and DOJ probably has evidence that they chose not to take to the grand jury, because the evidence they're in possession of would implicate other people, not Epstein or Maxwell. What we want to see are the facts and evidence that the FBI and the DOJ have never given to a grand jury.
Starting us off tonight, my lead source.
You'll never get to the bottom of this, and you'll never get justice in a Donald Trump Department of Justice. You're going to get cover-ups. That's all you're going to get.
Course, is the top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee, Congressman Robert Garcia. And thank you so much for being here, because when you see these pictures, when you go through them, what do you think the significance is of these images?
Well, I think first it's very important that when we receive anything, whether it's from the Epstein estate or other sources, we've got to put it out to the public. This is an investigation that deserves transparency, and the survivors deserve justice. It's been months and months since we've had a subpoena on these documents. We have, of course, this new law that was bipartisan that got passed, and yet the president has not acted on the full release of the files. He could do so tonight and today. These pictures, of course, just continue to raise additional questions. Some of them are quite...
Donald Trump is not going to allow unredacted files from Epstein's home for the same reason why prosecution, federal and state, didn't use the children as a focal point on the Diddy case. If they had done that, a lot of people, just like if they released these files, the Epstein files, a lot of people would be implicated. It would expose a lot of people. And some of them are more than likely in law enforcement, legislative branch, executive branch. All these people who say they're about law and order, this is what they're about, really. They fly off to islands and do the unthinkable.
I think, disturbing about the relationships that Jeffrey Epstein had with powerful men. You'll note that we have said from day one that we don't care who are in these files, what political party they're in, how much wealth they have, who their connections are. We're going to release the information. We're going to hold those that cause harm, that in some cases abuse and rape women and children. We're going to hold them accountable.
That's when or if you can determine who's in the files and who did what. But if you have a Justice Department that's subservient to a tyrannical president and a FBI director who's towing the line and who are subservient to the president, you'll never get no type of justice, no accountability. This will happen after he's out of office. While he's in office, it'll never happen.
We're going to get justice for the survivors and everything that...
And it's not even written that it will happen after he's out of office. Because when you have politicians who are above the law, who can be convicted of 34 felonies and still be allowed to run for president and be elected, that shows how lawless and how, crooked, wicked to the core that the government is.
That we release just adds more information about who Jeffrey Epstein was, the people that he surrounded him with, and clearly he had connections to very powerful people. I want to say one last thing. We also have numerous bank records, and those bank records we're going through right now will hopefully also get us a lot more information about the connections between who was paying Jeffrey Epstein and for what.
Have you learned anything from those bank records yet, or is it still, you're still sorting through that?
They're pretty complex records. We're actually working with both the Senate Finance Committee and also the House Financial Services Committee right now to go through all the documents. And we have right now bank records from two different banks, Deutsche Bank and JP Morgan. We need 20 additional banks to be subpoenaed. And we've asked Republicans, Chairman Comer, to please work with us on a bipartisan subpoena to those banks. So we have yet to hear from him on that. We're glad that 2 other banks are moving forward, but we know that we need information from all of those banks to get the clear financial picture of who was paying Jeffrey Epstein, what individuals, possibly foreign governments, what large organizations, and was there money laundering or other financial crimes happening throughout this whole process?
One thing that the Republicans on your committee have accused you of.
Jeffrey Epstein had an island where people all over the world came to do whatever they were doing on that island. So it's multiple people who paid him to establish and maintain that island, to make it look the way it looked, and to have his counterpart do the fishing, if you know what I mean, to bring the the packages to the island for those who come to the island.
You of in the White House as well is cherry picking certain pictures. They say to form a narrative here. How did you decide which pictures in the 95,000 that you now have access to? How did you decide which ones to release today?
I think it's interesting that Republicans like to make these arguments when they have yet to call on President Trump in a strong way to release all the files. They wanted to conceal the files. They wanted to oppose our subpoena. They tried everything they could to stop our vote in the Congress to actually get the files released. And so every step of the way, Mike Johnson, the chairman of our committee, James Comer, and Donald Trump have actually been a part of this massive cover-up. So we should be very clear about that. As far as the photos, we've actually only reviewed.
I'm going to move on from this and go to something even more despicable, which is consistent on the behavior. Like I said, politicians, law enforcement, even judges are involved in the same thing that these so-called elitists are into. Corrupt judges arrested for doing the unthinkable to children, selling children.
My kid's not here. He's dead because of him. He ruined my life. I'd like him to go to hell and rot there forever.
Ma'am, come on.
No, you know what he told everybody in court? They need to be held accountable for their actions. You need to be. Do you remember me? Do you remember me? Do you remember my son, an all-star wrestler? He's good. He shot himself in the heart. He's scumbag.
This is the crazy thing. These judges were locking these children up for being late for school, truancy, fighting in school, putting them in prison, skipping class, just anything, putting them in jail for this. And they were getting kickbacks in the millions from these private prisons. Judges doing this. Cash for kids.
2 judges sentenced to a combined total of almost 50 years in prison. We have out of Luzerne County, Pennsylvania.
Now, this young brother did this video about a few weeks ago, but what he don't know, he did it 8 days ago. He did this video 8 days ago, and it's evident that he didn't do his research. This is what I want to say, that we have to do research before we put out information. Research, not just searching for stuff and presenting it. They did get sentenced to those years in prison, but I'm going to move on from this and show you what Joe Biden did. These men and women who were judges were sending children to jail to get kickbacks in the thousands for each prisoner, for each inmate, in the millions. They were arrested, found guilty, and sent to prison. Now, I'm going to show you what happened after they were sentenced. This is what happened.
Warriors, I am very disturbed by a recent
Joe Biden gave them
story, a
clemency.
headline, a revelation, whatever.
Joe Biden.
Warriors, I am very disturbed by a recent story.
He granted clemency to the Kids for Cash judge, a pardon. That's why this is why I don't trust politicians. I can't stand politics. I can't stand politicians, left or right, Democrat or Republican. I do not trust or even like politicians.
Revelation, whatever you want to call it. Our current president, lame duck president Joe Biden, just offered the biggest clemency in history.
Salute to my brother, old dude.
That
Thanks for
was
tapping in.
1,499 commuted sentences or pardons. I'll tell you why I'm upset. Because of a certain case that we will refer to as Cash for Kids. Now, I remember this case, it was before I was even a warrior. So I saw something on maybe 60 Minutes, 48 Hours, one of these programs. And it was about how this prison.
I don't know if I want to hear her spill. Let me see if I got anything else on this. Yeah, I'll move on from this. Her spill seems like it's not going to be something I want to hear. So I'm moving on from it. Staying consistent with this case, Joe Biden pardoned the Kids for Cash judge, commuted the sentence.
The Biden administration is facing backlash after President Biden granted clemency to Michael Conahan, the former Pennsylvania judge convicted for his role in the infamous Kids for Cash scandal. Conahan was sentenced to more than 17 years in prison in 2011 after pleading guilty to racketeering conspiracy charges. His crimes included accepting over $2 million in kickbacks to funnel juveniles into for-profit detention centers, a scheme that forced Pennsylvania to vacate thousands of juvenile convictions and devastated countless families. Conahan's commutation was part of a broader effort by the White House, which granted clemency to nearly 1,500 individuals who had been released on home confinement during the COVID-19 pandemic. A White House official explained that the administration made these decisions based on general criteria. The offenses had to be non-violent, unrelated to sex crimes or terrorism, and the individuals had to pose a low risk of reoffending. Additionally, they needed to have demonstrated good behavior for at least a year and not engaged in any gang-related or violent activity while incarcerated. However, the administration did not consider the specifics of Conahan's case or those of any other individual when granting these commutations. Instead, the official stated, all eligible individuals who met the criteria received clemency, an act the White House described as a record-setting display of holiday mercy and commitment to sex.
For the crimes that this judge did, as a judge, as a sworn public servant, to take children and sell them to prisons, private correction institutions for kickbacks to up to $2 million. That's nothing he did should have got him out of jail early. Nothing. The only way he should have got out of jail early if he strung himself up and took his own damn life and they carried him out of there in a bag. That's the only way he should have came out of there early. But for him to get clemency, to clear him of that, it's crazy.
Second chances. The decision has sparked outrage in Pennsylvania and beyond. Democratic Governor Josh Shapiro, speaking on Friday, said, President Biden got it absolutely wrong and created a lot of pain here in northeastern Pennsylvania. Shapiro added that Conahan deserves to be behind bars, not walking as a free man. Critics say the decision disregards the profound harm caused by Conahan's actions. The scandal, called the worst in Pennsylvania's history by federal prosecutors, upended the lives of countless children and families. Conahan's actions led to wrongful convictions, financial burdens, and in some cases, lifelong trauma. For the victims, the clemency has reopened old wounds. Amanda Laura, one of the juveniles wrongly imprisoned as part of Conahan's scheme, described the decision as a big slap in the face. Sandy Fonzo, whose son tragically died by suicide after being placed in juvenile detention by Conahan, said she was shocked and hurt, adding, "Conahan's actions destroyed families, including mine, and my son's death is a tragic reminder of the consequences of his abuse of power." The White House defended the commutation as a matter of eligibility rather than judgment on Conahan's original crimes. The administration emphasized that Conahan had already served most of his sentence, was on home confinement, and likely would have been released by August 2026. Still, the decision has reignited debates over the balance between justice and mercy. Advocates for clemency argue that the policy reflects President Biden's belief in rehabilitation and second chances. Yet, for the victims and their families, Conahan's release represents a profound failure to fully hold him accountable for his abuse of
Joe Biden didn't use good discretion doing that. He would have been the last person that I even considered.
power. As the controversy unfolds, it raises pressing questions about the administration's approach to clemency. How does the justice system weigh acts of mercy against the severity of crimes? And what responsibility does it have to consider the lasting impact on victims? For now, those questions...
Staying with this story, they're calling it Biden's worst, most disgusting pardon. Pardoning judges that were selling children for bribes.
Seaside tour in Los Angeles, Honolulu, Dallas, Texas, Baltimore, Atlantic City, Cohoes, New York, and Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and only there. You remember when the guy who hosts Weekend Update said he was voting for Joe Biden because he was voting for decency?
Yeah, Colin Jost.
Yeah.
ScarJo.
Yeah. There couldn't be a less decent human being in the country than Joe Biden.
But Kojo and ScarJo said he's decent.
A heartbroken mother confronted the court. So what he did, I'll just gonna let you know.
There's no such thing as a decent politician. They are equally as evil on both sides. They're just evil people. They serve themselves and their constituents. I know they talk a good game, but they serve themselves and their constituents. Now, for him to even consider pardoning a judge who jailed children for bribes, for kickbacks, nah. I told our people when Joe Biden was elected that he wasn't going to do anything for us. But our people, again, seem to think that the guy in office now is doing what he's doing for us. And he's not. He's doing it for him. Donald Trump and his people, the Caucasians, they are the original tethers. So I cannot praise a tether for getting rid of another tether. I wish they all would go back to where they came from.
You know, there was this judge who was taking payoffs from private prisons to put kids, juvenile.
Peace to the God, Keith Lamont. Salute to the God, Keith Lamont.
In prison that shouldn't be there. He was taking payoffs. They caught him and they put that judge in prison. Joe Biden, who is in the pocket of private prisons, just pardoned that guy. So
yeah, that's trafficking when you do that. When you send kids to somebody for money?
For money.
That's called human trafficking.
That's called human trafficking.
Exactly. And he should have gotten, a RICO charge on top of what he was doing because it is organized crime and he did have co-conspirators. That judge should have been charged with a RICO crime.
So a heartbroken mother confronted the corrupt judge. Judge Michael Conahan was sentenced to 17 years in prison for his role in the infamous Kids for Cash scandal. Joe Biden just pardoned him.
That's a weird pardon. Why would he have to pardon that guy?
He sent juveniles because Joe Biden owes favors to the for-profit prisons, and the for-profit prisons are paying other judges. That's what that means. And they don't want
judges might get scared.
They don't want other judges to get scared and stop sending people to prison for money.
Wow. Did
So
tall Biden
he got
or
paid.
short Biden?
He got paid millions of dollars to send kids to prison. And watch, a mother confronts this guy.
Actions. You need to be. Do you remember me? Do you remember me? Do you remember my son? An all-star wrestler. He's good. He shot himself in the heart. This scumbag.
A heartbroken, really an outraged mother lashing out at former Judge Mark Civarella. Now, her son, an all-star wrestler, killed himself after being sent to a juvenile detention. Civarella was accepting money to do that, send kids away for cash. The former judge was convicted yesterday of 12 counts, including racketeering and money laundering. The judge remains free while he awaits sentencing.
Yeah. Is Don Lemon going to report on the pardon?
Victims of Kids for Cash, judge outraged by Biden's clemency. What about all of us? He was convicted. He took $2.8 million.
$2.8 million. $2,800,000 to send 2,300 children, some as young as 8 years old, sent them to jail for profit. I think he should have got the needle for that. Should have got the needle for that. The state of Pennsylvania should have gave him the needle for that. Messing with our future like that.
$1 million for jailing more than 2,300 kids. So he human trafficked 2,300 children, some as young as 8 years old.
The number I heard was 4,000.
Joe Biden just pardoned that guy. That's the guy you voted for decency. What's that fucking asshole's name who said he voted
Colin
for
Jost?
What is his name?
Colin Jost.
What's his last name? You're saying it too fast.
J-O-S-T.
Colin Jost, the host of Weekend Update, said he was voting for decency. And now you know. Well, now you know what Colin Jost is worth. $0. Here's the story. Victims of former Pennsylvania judge convicted in the so-called Kids for Cash scandal are outraged by Joe Biden's decision to grant him clemency. In 2011, he was sentenced to more than 17 years in prison after he and another judge, Mark Ciavella, were found guilty of accepting $2.8 million in illegal payments in exchange for sending 2,300 kids to jail.
I forgot what state it was in, but it was a female judge who had done the same thing. And they locked her ass up.
Including some as young as 8 years old, to private juvenile detention centers.
How are they going to learn?
Conahan was released from prison in 2020 due to COVID-19. And he was placed on house arrest, which has been scheduled to end in 2026. Conahan's sentence was one of about 1,500 the U.S. president commuted or shortened on Thursday, while also pardoning 39 Americans who had been convicted of nonviolent crimes. But not Julian Assange. But not Dozel. What's that guy's name?
Dozinger.
Not Steve Dozinger.
Or January 6th, but don't even compare to the level of this evil on any level.
In response to Conahan's pardon, the mother of a boy sent to jail at age 17 before later dying by suicide told the Citizen's Voice, "I am shocked and I am hurt," because she probably voted for Joe Biden. Conahan's actions destroyed families, including mine, and my son's death is a tragic reminder of the consequences of his abuse of power, Sandy Fonzo said to the outlet.
When you vote your confidence for a politician. Which means you're confident that they will serve you as a public servant. I've been of the voting age for over 40 years. And to this date, I haven't seen anyone that I would cast a vote for. Not one person.
This pardon feels like an injustice for all of us who still suffer. Right now, I am processing and doing the best I can to cope with the pain that this has brought back. But I hope that this judge doesn't run into a Luigi.
Yeah.
Somebody
Or
who was
Mario.
put in jail by him, who kind of has an axe to grind. I hope that doesn't. I hope that doesn't happen.
You know, probably won't. Arpaio's
Probably won't happen.
right?
I'm saying. That's why I'm saying I hope it doesn't. Similarly, Amanda Laura, who at age 14 was wrongfully imprisoned as part of the scheme, told WBRE, "It's a big slap in the face for us once again. We had time taken away from us. We had no one to talk to. But now we're talking about the president of the United States to do this? What about all of us? President Joe Biden doesn't give a shit about you. He never did. And fuck
Why did
all
you
those
think he
people
did?
who said that Joe Biden was decent. Fuck all those people.
He just
They're
cares about how
all
you smell.
stupid assholes. They're the same people who told you don't do your own research doing COVID and that you should take a mandatory experimental medical treatment and shut up. Fuck those assholes.
Did you see Martin Short making fun of Colin Jost on some promo? He was getting gifts for everybody, and it was a book, Charisma on Command, for Colin Jost. And he goes, cocaine calls him the challenge.
The Pennsylvania governor, Josh Shapiro, also condemned Biden's decision, telling reporters that his fellow Democrat got it absolutely wrong. He didn't get it wrong. He did something evil because Joe Biden is evil.
Was it a whoopsie doodle?
I'll offer these thoughts as an outsider, not privy to all the information he looked at, but I do feel strongly that President Biden got it absolutely wrong and created a lot of pain here in northeastern Pennsylvania. Biden's actions Thursday marked the largest instance of presidential clemency carried out in a single day. Describing the move, the White House said the president is commuting the sentences of close to 1,500 people who were placed on home confinement during the COVID-19 pandemic and who have successfully reintegrated. And thank God that judge is successfully reintegrated.
You know, Bo Biden, his son that died, that Biden lied and said he got a tumor from burn pits and all that bullshit.
No, he said he got killed in Iraq.
No, he didn't get killed in Iraq. He got a
No,
brain tumor,
that was the
son.
lie he said. Yeah.
Yeah, Biden's an idiot. But his son busted the worst pedophile, I think, in American history, some doctor. Then he prosecuted a DuPont, who the judge then gave clemency to.
And then he got brain cancer.
Then he died of a brain tumor. So
And Joe Biden also pardoned his own damn son, something he said he wasn't going to do. But he pardoned his own son.
good son, who was a good guy, Biden, by contrast, and his shitbag son Hunter, those
are the people who live. So back to this. Zaid Salim says Biden's clemency of Judge Michael Conahan has to rank pretty high on the list of the most unconscionable actions ever taken by a president. Former Governor blah, 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 convicted in 2011 of a Kids for Cash scandal where he took kickbacks from the for-profit detention centers in exchange for wrongly sending juveniles to their... That is, I can't even... That is more evil than anything Alex Jones, Donald Trump, you name it, put together have done. Joe Biden did that, just like that. Michael Conahan took $2,800,000 in bribes from a private prison in exchange for locking up 2,300 kids, one of whom committed suicide. Biden commuted his sentence. Steve Donziger won a $9 billion lawsuit against Chevron, and he got locked up for 3.5 years in retaliation for winning a lawsuit against Chevron. By the way, same judge who locked up Donziger is the one who convicted Trump in the Jean Carroll rape case.
Yeah.
So
Steve Donziger, not pardoned.
See, I don't like none of these politicians. Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Kamala Harris. I don't like none of these politicians. None of them. They're all a bunch of damn evil-ass people who don't have no type of consciousness, and they don't have nothing in their heart to do to serve the people. They're not public servants. They just go under the guise of public servants. They serve themselves and they serve their constituents. They're bloodsuckers of the poor, all of them.
So your friend Joe Biden is the scum of the earth, like I've always said. He's not a decent guy. He's not a great politician. He got to where he is because he was willing to serve.
He is a great politician. He's great as described in the damn scripture. You know, great and dreadful day, great Satan. Yeah, the great that the scriptures describe is not it's not good. All of these people are wicked. All of them.
Evil. That's how he got there. Come see us on tour in Los Angeles, Honolulu, Dallas, Texas, Baltimore, Atlantic City, Cohoes, New York, and Providence, Rhode Island. Go to
I want to thank everybody for joining me this evening. I did this at the last minute, but I appreciate you all for showing up for your brother as we went over lawlessness and disorder. And until next time, before I go, if you haven't gotten your books, Fire Book 2, the finale, get your copies of Fire and Fire Book 2, the finale. Go to Amazon, get yourself Fire Book 2, the finale, Angela King James on Amazon. This is the original book, Fire, by Angela King James. Get your copies. Go to Amazon, go to Books, Angela King James. Get your copies of Fire and Fire Book 2. Do the promos, and then we're going to end the stream.
I don't know how I got here. I just know I'm never going back. Just when I thought things were already crazy, it gets worse.
I'm back.
Quan?
Sapphire struggles to deal with her husband's alleged betrayal and coming to terms with Quan being alive after thinking he was deceased. Devante tries to keep a level head while dealing with family issues and unexpected disloyalty. Memories of Dre enters Devante's life in a way that he would have never imagined.
Fire Part 2, the finale.
We're going to go to the next promo.
Get your copy of Fire. It's definitely a must-read. If you enjoy hood books, this one is it. Just like the title of the book, it's officially Fire. Get it on Amazon, paperback or Kindle.
Thanks for joining me. This is The Enemy's Public. I am Bro.Nasir. Like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. Peace.